Hello, welcome back to my channel, Study With Me. Today I'm going to explain about Chemistry Standard Level Paper 1, November last year, 2023. If you find this helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I'm going to explain other past year papers as well. So, let's get started. Okay, let's start with number 1. Which hydrocarbon would produce equal numbers of moles of CO2 and H2O upon complete combustions? So if it's complete combustion, so it will react with oxygen, produce CO2 and H2O, but the number of moles should be equal. The answer is D. So let me write the chemical equation. If C4H8 react with oxygen, will produce CO2 and H2O because it's a complete combustions. So we need to balance this equation by putting coefficient of CO2 is 4 and H2O is also 4 and oxygen will be 8. And as you can see, these two they have equal numbers of mole, so the answer is D. And for number 2, metal M reacts with 16 gram of sulfur, producing 26 gram of the compound MS2. So what is the relative atomic mass of M? So we need to write the chemical equation first to calculate the relative atomic mass of M. So M will react with sulfur, producing MS2. So sulfur should be 2, the coefficient here, because otherwise it's not balanced. So the mass of sulfur is 6 gram and the mass of MS2 is 26 gram. So to find molar mass of MS2, we need to find out the mole of MS2 because the formula will be Mr M divided by N. So to find the mole of MS2, we can do mole ratio by finding the mole of sulfur divided by its molar mass, which is 32.07, and you will get 0.499. Alright, but for the mole of MS2, because the coefficient is here, so the mole will be half of 0.499. So the mass is 26 and the mole will be 0.249 as it is half of 0.499. So you will get 104.41. So we get the molar mass of MS2. And as you guys know, the molar mass of S2 is 32.07. So times 2, so you will get S2, and the molar mass of MS2 is 104.41. So to get the molar mass or the relative atomic mass of M, you need to eliminate them. So if you eliminate 104.41 minus 64.41, which is S2, so you will get 40. So 40 will be the answer, the relative atomic mass of M. Alright, for number 3, there are 64 gram of methane and 96 gram of oxygen that are reacting in the vessel. So what would be found in the reaction vessel at completion of the reaction? So we need to find out which one is the limiting reactant that will be used up. So this limiting reactant will not be in the vessel at completion of the reaction. So let me write the equation again. So we can do some simple calculation here to find out the limiting reactant. All right, so 64 gram of methane and 96 gram of oxygen divided by its molar mass, which is 16.04, and 32. So you will get 3.99, and this one you will get 3 moles. But you need to pay attention, 3 moles for 2 molecules of oxygen, 3.99 mole for 1 molecule of CH4. Therefore, 1.5 mole for 1 molecule of oxygen. So this one will be the limiting reactant. Okay, so as oxygen is acting as a limiting reactant, so this one will be used up. So oxygen will not be found in the reaction vessel at completion of the reaction. CO2 and H2O will be found as the products because these two are reacting. So the answer will be C. CH4, CO2, and H2O only. For number 4, this chemical equation just need to be balanced to find the correct NH3O2 ratio. So the coefficient for NH3 will be 4, and oxygen will be 5, and NO will be 4, and H2O will be 6. So the correct ratio for ammonia and oxygen will be 4 and 5. For number 5, we will do some little bit calculation as well. So there are 2 isotopes, which is gallium-69 and gallium-71, which with AR 69.72. So let's make an example. Gallium-69 as an X and gallium-71 as a 100 minus X. So if we plot into a formula, so the gallium-69 will times X plus 71, gallium-71 times 100 minus X divided by 100 equal to 69.72. All right, so after you do some calculation, so you will find that 69x minus 71x plus 7,100 divided by 100 equal to 69.72. And after doing some other calculation, you will find x 7,100 minus 6972 divided by 2, and you will get 64 as an X. So gallium-69 is 64%, and gallium-71 will be 100 minus 64, which is 36. So the answer will be A. For number 6, which electron configuration represents a d block element in the ground state? So we need to find out which one is the transition metal from these 4 options. So as you can see for D, for P1, so it's a bit odd here, while for S1, so definitely not D. And for A, after calculating how many electrons here, it's 20, so it's a bit odd as well. That 20 is not in the transition metal. Okay, and we find this too. So the number of electron for these two are the same, which is 29. After you total this number of electron for B and C. But which one is the correct one? It's B, because if you see this and this one, all right, so you will come up with the rules D should be fulfilled first. So that's why D is 10 and S will be 1. So that's why the answer will be B. All right, for number 7, a beam containing 2 different kinds of particles is passed through oppositely charged plates with the result shown in the diagram. A beam containing 2 different kinds of particles means there is a flow of particles consisting of 2 distinct types. those particles are subjected to a situation where they pass through oppositely charged plates. All right. So through this diagram, if we see A and B, the conclusion cannot be drawn from the observation provided by the diagram, as it doesn't provide any information about the relative mass of particles. So it means A and B cannot be the answer. So now we just have a choice, C and D. All right. So for C, particle is positively charged, and for C, particle 1 is positively charged, and for D, particle 2 is positively charged. So the answer will be D, because particles with a positive charge are attracted to a negatively charged plate and vice versa. Thus, particle 2 must have a positive charge. So that's why the answer is D. Okay, for number 8, which factor generally increases when first ionization energy increases? When the first ionization energy increases, the more amount of energy is required to withdraw an electron from such atom, as electrons in the last shells are tightly bound to nucleus. So the more amount of energy is required to withdraw the electron, the higher the tendency to attract an electron. Therefore, if the first ionization energy increases, the electronegativity, where the tendency to attract the electron, is also going to be increased. So the answer will be B. Okay, for number 9, the periodic table provided shows 118 elements. Which group of elements would a new element with atomic number 119 be most similar to? 118 is the last element in the group 8 in the periodic table. So 118 element would be most similar to alkali metals, because it will start from the left side again. So the answer will be A. So for number 10, the formula of praseodymium phosphate is PrPO4. What is the formula for praseodymium oxide? So if we break it down, PrPO4, as you guys know, PO4, 3 minus phosphate ion. So PR would be plus 3, because there is no number here, so they cancel out. Therefore, the charge of PR is plus 3. So if with oxide is 2 minus, so PR will be plus 3, and we do crisscross, so PR2O3. So plus 3 will go down here, and 2 will go down here. So that's why the answer will be C. For number 11, for which molecule can resonance structures be used to describe the bonding? HCN doesn't have resonance. H2CO3 also doesn't have. PCl3 also doesn't have. Only SO2. It has 2 resonances, which is this way, and another Lewis structure will be this one. Okay, so this should be 6, and this should be 4, and this 2. What are electron domain and molecular geometries of SO3? SO3, this would be the Lewis structure, so is trigonoplanar for the electron domain geometry and also molecular geometry. So the answer will be definitely A. For number 13, which substance has high volatility in its pure state and high electrical conductivity in aqueous solution? CHH5Cl is moderately volatile, and NaCl is not because it's solid. So we have two options, which is HCl and HCN. HCN has hydrogen bond, so it will be less lightly high volatile compared to HCl that doesn't have hydrogen bond. So the answer will be B. Which reactions release heat or exothermic reaction? The first reaction is a combination reaction that release heat, which is exothermic, and adding in an electron is an exothermic reaction as well. So the third one is a condensation reaction releasing heat because from gas to liquid. This is also exothermic. So three of them are the reactions that release heat. So the answer will be D. Which expression represents the calculation used to obtain the delta H value for the conversion of oxygen to 1 mole of ozone? Okay, so from oxygen to ozone. So we need oxygen and ozone. This is oxygen and this is ozone. So from oxygen to ozone, but this way from ozone to oxygen. So we need to flip these reactions. So it will be oxygen to ozone, to 1 mole of ozone. So we need to flip both of them. So this will be negative and this will be positive. But you also need to pay attention that CO2 here, the coefficient is 3. We need to eliminate them, but here is 2 CO2. So to eliminate CO2 from the right and the left side, so we need to make the coefficients the same by times this 1.5. And we flip them, so it will be 1.5 O2 plus 3 CO, because 2 times 1.5 produce 3 CO2, because again 2 times 1.5. It will be delta H, it will be negative 566 and times 1.5. All right, and for this reaction we also need to flip it, so but it stay the same because we don't multiply with anything. So it will be 3 CO2 producing ozone and 3 CO. So delta H will be plus 992. All right, so we can eliminate them and eliminate this one as well. So oxygen to 1 mole of ozone. So the answer will be C. All right, for number 16, which expression represents the calculation of delta H? It's very, very clear that this is reactant and product. So this one and this one as well. So the answer will be A. Question number 17. Which statement describes a role that catalysts might have in increasing the rate of reaction by providing an alternative mechanisms? It has two correct answers for this question, which is A and C, because it increases frequency of collisions between molecules will increase the rate of reaction, and it also should collide in correct orientation. So both answers are correct. For question number 18, which of the following equilibria would shift left with an increase in pressure? If you increase the pressure, the equilibria would shift to the number of lower molecule. All right, but increase in pressure only affect on the gas molecule. So let's calculate the coefficient. So here is 2 on the reactant side, and then on the product it's 2. So this is not gonna work because it has the same amount of molecule for the left and the right side. And here is 1, and here is 2 because here is solid, so 1 and 2. And here is 1.5, and this one is 1. And here is 7, 4 and 3, and here is 2. So to increasing in pressure, that will shift to the left, the molecule should be lower. So we need on the left that molecule should be lower from the right. So it definitely will be B, because on the left side is 1, on the right side is 2. What is the correct way to express the formula for the conjugate base of ethanoic acid? So let me write the equation. So CH3COOH, when it reacts with water, will produce CH3COO minus plus H3O plus. And this is the conjugate base of ethanoic acid. So the answer is B. Sulfur dioxide emission from coal-fired power plants is a source of acid deposition, which are pre-combustion methods of reducing sulfur dioxide emissions. The first one is definitely post-combustion method, and the second and third are definitely pre-combustion method. So the answer will be C. In which compound does vanadium have an oxidation state of +4? It's quite tricky, this one, but you need to breaking it down into ion so you will understand that why the question is quite tricky. I find it's quite tricky. So the simple way that if there is 2 right here, so this 2 belong to vanadium. Let me break it down into ion so you will see it clearly. So NO3 minus V2 plus. So if you do crisscross, so it will be VNO3 2. And for the answer is B. Why B? But let's go to C first. So V3 PO5 PO4 5. So if you breaking it down, this will be PO4 3 minus. So this 3 belong to PO4 3 minus. So 5 will be belong to V. So V plus 5. And for the V3 PO4 2, if you're breaking it down, it will be PO4 3 minus again. So V will be plus 2. So definitely the answer is B. But why? V, SO4, and 2. So as you guys know, SO4 is 2 minus. So if V is plus 2, they will be cancelled out. So it will be VSO4. But there are 2 right here. So it means there are extra charge from vanadium that makes 2 available or exist here. So this should be 4. So there are extra 2 plus that makes 2 exist here. That's why the answer is B. Number 22, the acid H2S reacts with an active metal, producing what? So if we breaking it down into an ion, it will be S2 minus and H plus. And M is a metal. So if it's a metal, it will be plus. So M will react with S. Let's make it to be maybe +1 because it's an active metal. So it will be M2S plus. There is H right here, so it will be hydrogen. So hydrogen will be the product. So between A and C. And is it oxidizing agent or reducing agent? So because it's a free element, so the oxidation number will be 0 and H will be +1. So +1 to 0, it's a reduction. So if it's reduction, definitely oxidizing agent. So the answer will be A. What occurs during the operation of the voltaic cell Cu2 plus, salt bridge, Ag plus, and Ag? So when you find this salt bridge like this will be oxidation and this will be reduction. So when it's oxidation, it will be anode, and when it's reduction, it will be cathode. Because my point is anox and cath red. So if it's the title will be panic, positive anode, negative cathode. Okay, so this anode will be positive and this cathode will be negative. All right, so which one that will gain mass is cathode. Cathode is gaining mass. And as you can see here, the mass of silver electrode will increase, which is correct. And NO3 minus ions in the salt bridge will migrate towards the copper electrode. NO3 minus ions is an ions in the salt bridge that will flow towards the anode, and cations flow towards cathode. So this one is also correct. But the blue color of the Cu2 plus solution will not fade, it will increase. So the answer will be C. Number 24, which species will most readily react with propane? There are Br atom, Br2 molecule, Br minus ion, and Br plus ion. Br plus ion definitely will take it out because there's no Br plus ion. And Br minus ion not sufficiently undergoes substitution reaction. And we left Br2 molecule and Br atom. They are capable, for Br2 molecule, but if we compare with Br atom is specifically single out and highly reactive due to the presence of an unpaired electron because it's an atom. So A is more suitable compared to B. Which pair of compounds are structural isomers? Okay, so we need to identify these two. So for the first one is amino acid, and this one is ether. For B is alcohol, and this one is ketone. So alcohol and ketone are not structural isomers because their formula is for alcohol is CnH2n plus 2O, but for ketone is CnH2n plus 2O. So for ketone should be H2NO. So they are not structural isomers, but for C, the formula is CnH2n plus 2O, and for ether also CnH2n plus 2O. So they are matched. So the answer will be C. Okay, what is the correct classification for the two compounds given? So for alcohol that attached to this C attached to other three C. 1, 2, 3. So makes this as tertiary alcohol. And for amine, this is primary. It's not about how many, like, or how it attached to the carbon, because NH2 primary and then NHR is secondary and NR2 is tertiary. So the answer will be D. And for question number 27, which is the first product distillation from the reaction of propanol? So propanol is the primary alcohol that with acidified potassium dichromate, which is oxidation, will produce aldehyde. So aldehyde, this is the functional group of aldehyde. So the answer is C. Which procedure is most likely to produce a systematic error in determining the original concentration of NaOH by titration with HCl? Systematic error, as you guys know, the example is measuring volume of water from the top of meniscus or overshooting the volume of liquid or heat of loss. But look, if you check the answers from these four, titrating this sample 2 days after preparing it instead of on the day it was prepared most likely will produce a systematic error because it's not fresh enough. So you need to titrate it directly once you prepare the solution. So D is definitely the answer. And for number 29, which graph shows the relationship between quantity of product formed and quantity of excess reactant after the limiting reactant is consumed? So when the limiting reactant is consumed, the excess reactant remaining in the mixture. So once there is no more reactant, the reaction cannot be proceed anymore. So the answer will be A because the limiting reactant is finished. So there is no more reaction. So A will definitely the answer. For number 30, which type of data can be used to determine an empirical formula? Okay, so percentage composition is the answer. Why? Because percentage composition involves the mass percentage of element present in the compound. By comparing them, you can determine the simplest whole number ratio, which constitutes its empirical formula. So percentage composition is the data from percentage composition can be used to determine an empirical formula. All right, so I've explained all the 30 questions from the past year papers standard level November 2023. I hope this is helpful for you to prepare for your exam or for your study. So if you find this helpful, please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time with explanation of other past year papers. And thank you for watching. Bye bye.